What's up, friends? Welcome into another special Week 2 preview episode of Tables, Tailgates, and Top Loaders. So happy to have you all aboard for this episode. I am your host, TB. Thank you all very much for stopping in and checking out the 3 Ts. Now, this is a special game preview of Bills at Jets. We're not going to be talking about the other Ts in this podcast today, so we're just going to try to see if we could do this for each and every game of this season moving forward. Before I dive into this Week 2 preview, can you please all do me a huge favor? Bills Mafia, hook ya boy TB up. Hit that follow, hit that like, hit that subscribe button. Leave your boy a 5-star review on whatever podcast program you're using. Help me out. I need to get some more listeners on this program. But anyway, let's dive right in. News and notes from the week. Matt Prater has been signed to the active 53-man roster. This prevents any team from snagging him off our practice squad, where he was prior to being elevated before game 1. Obviously, we know the story at this point. He was signed to the practice squad the Thursday before the Sunday night game, and then he made all 5 kicks during the game that he was asked to make, including the game-winning 32-yarder. So what did the Bills do? They kind of covered themselves, right? Because if he goes back to the practice squad, any team can literally pluck him off of that team, off of that practice squad, and put him on their active roster. So the Bills avoided this fiasco from happening. Can you imagine if he kicks the game-winning field goal for us and then, I don't know, say the Arizona Cardinals decide, hey, we miss him, we want him back because I think he kicked there last year, and they just pluck him off our practice squad and sign him. Can you imagine what we would be doing right now? So they avoided this fiasco and signed him to the active roster. So congrats, he is officially on the team. Punter Brad Robbins, not so much. He was cut, and punter Cameron Johnston was signed. If you have looked at a picture of Cameron Johnston, he looks just like Sean McDermott. And if you don't like that one, Bill Burr, for all you comedy fans, he is definitely a doppelganger for Bill Burr. He appeared in 1 game for the Steelers last season. He had 2 punts, and then he left and was done for the year with a knee injury. So in 7 seasons, he has a career 47.3 yard average per punt. Not too shabby at all. And hopefully he can be better than Robbins, whose performance against the Ravens was clearly not well liked by our coaching staff. I think the last punt of the game on Sunday went for a grand total of 28 lovely yards. So yikes, not good, Bob. What else? What else do I want to say? The clown, the fan, whatever you want to call him, the guy that hit the DeAndre Hopkins and Lamar Jackson during the Tutty celebration Sunday night. Well, he was ejected from the game, and he also has been quote-unquote indefinitely banned from Bills and NFL stadiums, according to reports. I'm not really sure how you actually ever enforce something like this, but it was good to see. I know Terry Pegula came out, I don't know when this was, at some point. It was either within the last 48 hours, but I guess he said the fan was in the wrong, and any fines that were going to be sent to Lamar for the 2-hand forearm shimmy that he engaged with the fan, Pegula said the Bills will gladly pay that fine because the Bills fan was clearly in the wrong. So there you go. He's been banned. He's been kicked out of NFL stadiums and Highmark indefinitely. What else? Josh Allen. Josh Allen now sits as the Bills' franchise leader in rushing touchdowns after scoring 2 more on the ground on Sunday. He tied and then passed the Hall of Fame running back Thurman Thomas. He was sitting at the top with 65, and he finished there with the Bills during his Hall of Fame career. So pretty cool. Josh is the leader and all by himself on the Bills franchise leaderboard for rushing touchdowns. So he's obviously going to keep climbing with that, and that record will probably never be touched. So let's dive into this Week 2 preview. Bills at Jets, Sunday, September 14th at 1 p.m. in Meadowlands, New Jersey. That's right, folks. You're going to hear me say a lot, the New Jersey Jets, but here we go. Injuries to look for. This is what I want to start with. Trey White. He was back to practice this week. Probably be a game-time decision. Most signs lean towards him playing. This probably means Dorian Strong, who was a starter on Sunday night, is back to the bench. And as a depth player, he did fine for being a rookie. He did just fine. So we'll see what Trey can bring to the table. I'm not too concerned about the depth of the New Jersey Jets wide receiver core. Obviously, Garrett Wilson is a fantastic player, and I would assume that Christian Benford is going to be facing him most of the night. Taron Johnson dealing with a quad injury, flared up Tuesday. He was held out of practice on Wednesday, and we shall see what the deal is moving forward with that. The latest report, Ed Oliver did not practice on Thursday's preparation day. He was seen in a walking boot, and this is not good. Not good, Bob, because after he was the most dominating player on the field on Sunday night as far as on the defensive side of the ball. Now he's in a walking boot and not practicing Thursday. Hopefully this is just a precautionary thing, but I have no idea. And Shaq Thompson, he's also dealing with a hammy injury and didn't practice on Wednesday and was limited on Thursday. So we shall see if he is ready to go. On the other side of the ball, injuries to look for the Jets. We have Mason Taylor, who's their starting TE. He had an ankle injury in the game against the Steelers and was held out of practice on Wednesday. Probably he'll be a game-time decision, as well as Marcelino McCrary Ball, who's their starting linebacker. He's got a calf injury and probably is considered questionable at this point, as well as Michael Carter, one of their defensive backs. He's got a shoulder injury. So what are some themes? What are some storylines heading into this game? Well, the Jets come into this game 0-1 after losing their season opener at home to the Steelers 34-32. This game came down to a 60-yard field goal by the Steelers with a minute left in the game. Pretty good game. These two were going back and forth at each other. You know, it was the first, I think I saw a stat or something like it was the first time that two quarterbacks who were on each other's teams the year before started this season going against each other. So obviously you had Justin Fields against Aaron Rodgers. I kind of like Fields. I think he seems to be a pretty decent guy. Can't stand the clown who is known as Aaron Rodgers, but whatever. They had a pretty good game, and we shall see what happens during the season for each one of these teams. But the Jets come into the season with a brand new head coach, Aaron Glenn. Robert Saleh is gone. He was let go at the end of last season, and it's a shame because I thought he was terrible, and the team was a total dumpster fire. So I was hoping that the New Jersey Jets would continue with the errors of their ways, and I loved watching Saleh make terrible decisions in game, and it was a lot of fun. So it seems Glenn has been brought in to bring in a new attitude, a new culture, and is going to try to turn things around here for the Jets in a few years. And probably the biggest addition to the Jets team is not having to deal with the clown show that is Aaron Rodgers. You want to talk about one of the biggest narcissists on the planet, not to mention the NFL. I just thought he was a cancer to the team, the way he basically came in and they let him have free reign and they let him do whatever he wanted and basically make changes to the team and bring in all his boys. And it was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe an organization actually allowed this to happen. Like I said, it's crazy. And I say that as a Bills fan. So if I'm saying that as a Bills fan, what are Jets fans saying about the short, what was it, two-year tenure of Aaron Rodgers? But anyway, in comes Justin Fields, who from all accounts is well-liked. He's well-respected. He seems to be a hard worker, and he doesn't cause a lot of problems. Historically, he hasn't had much success in his career to this point, but I've always felt like he may have been the victim of many bad situations. Chicago was kind of just a disaster, and then last year in Pittsburgh, he came in, he played really well for the first couple games. Then the next two, he was okay. And then he gets benched for Russell Wilson. Excuse me, I couldn't think of Russell Wilson's name for some reason. And Russell Wilson at this point in his career, like, really? I mean, does he pose more of a threat than Justin Fields? I don't know. But anyway, I thought last year especially he played well. And sometimes good players are never really given the keys to the kingdom, right? They actually have a chance to be good, but it's just the team around them is kind of trash. So I don't know. We'll see. Certain teams, and I say this more about Chicago than Pittsburgh, sometimes these teams are just dumpster fires and they don't know how to draft and develop and protect and grow their players. So we shall see what happens with him on the Jets this year. But he played well against the Steelers last week. He played really well. The Jets put up 394 yards of total offense. Fields was pedestrian, I think, through the air, 16 of 22, which is a really good 73% completion percentage. He had 218 yards through the air, one passing TD, 9.9 yards per carry. 9.9 yards per pass attempt, and that's pretty solid. Plus, he added another 12 carries, 48 yards on the ground, and 2 rushing tutties to go with that. I'm not saying he's Lamar, like there's not even a comparison, but maybe he's like not Lamar Light, but maybe Lamar Ultra. So if all you Michelob light beer drinkers, there you go. He's Lamar Ultra. The Jets also cut Xavier Gipson. Now, Bills fans should remember this name because he He took one back against us to the house. Well, he was the Jets' kick returner on Sunday against the Steelers, and he fumbled the kickoff to start the fourth quarter, giving the Steelers the ball right at the Jets' own 19-yard line. Not good, Bob. So clearly, Coach Aaron Glenn wasn't playing around, and he immediately shipped this guy out of town. Crazy stuff. But he said there's no place for fumbling on my team. Well, I wonder what's going to happen when Justin Fields throws a pickle or, Breece Hall drops the rock at some point during the season. He's going to ship these guys out because that would be crazy. Anyway, let's move on to X factors of the game. What are some of the things that I'm looking for when I'm looking at this game? Quinnen Williams, the big defensive tackle for the Jets, he had a pretty big game against the Steelers. This is a dude that can wreak havoc up front for our O-line. We need to be ready to deal with him. The running game Sunday against the Ravens was fine. It wasn't great. It wasn't anything to write home about. I know the game script probably dictated that they get away from the run towards the second half, and that's when the offense really started to click, obviously, but being down 15. But we shall see what the game plan is coming out of the box on Sunday afternoon. I have my doubts. But we're going to get into that in a minute here. Sauce Gardner. Everyone knows who this guy is at this point. He's one of the best cornerbacks in the league. It'll be interesting to see who he matches up on. I guess historically, he usually is locked to one side of the field, but I think on Sunday he kind of floats around, and it'll be key to see who he matches up on. Are you going to put him on Keon? Are you going to put him on Shakir? I don't see him playing in the slot much, so I think Shakir should be free and clear most of the day, but Josh Palmer, I can see him maybe shadowing Palmer. I don't know. So whether it's Keon, who had a great game last week after a slow start, obviously Keon came on like gangbusters in the fourth quarter, or maybe he sticks with Josh Palmer, like I said, or maybe he just stays locked to one side of the field. I have no idea. But the other side of their cornerback room, Brandon Stephens, he's kind of trash. So this would be the classic everybody eats game, and I would throw it to whoever Brandon Stephens is covering, and let's just keep churning out the yards. On our side of the field, our defense, our linebackers, Bernard and Milano, hey, wake up, folks, wake up. If you listened to the last episode, you know I was not fond of their week one performance. They need to be ready to go because Breece Hall and this Jets O-line is no slouch. I'm not saying he's Derrick Henry because that's never going to be the case, but last week he ran for 107 yards on 19 carries, and I guarantee the Jets want to slow this game down, and if Hall can regain his rookie year form, I know he's had some injuries, it's kind of slowed him down, but from the looks of it, on Sunday, he looked pretty good, and if he's back to his rookie form, he can be a big-time threat. They better wake up this week, Bernard Milano. This is you. Wake up. Be ready when the ball is snapped. Don't be looking in the backfield or looking to the sidelines. Get ready to go. Don't look like you have never stepped on a football field. Get to your assignments. Make the pre-snap judgments and calls way before the ball is snapped, and be ready to roll. Joe Brady, next X factor of the game. Yep, I'm throwing him on there. You better go attack the Jets secondary. Throw to the side of the field. Gardner is not on, and go get the 40 points. I was adamant about this reviewing last week's game. Your goal every week should be to score 40 points. You need to force Justin Fields to play from behind and see what he can do. Do not take your foot off the freaking gas pedal. Let Josh be great. Chuck the rock all over the field. I want to see this team air it out everywhere. Every week, that should be the goal. Have your run game complement your passing game, not vice versa. I understand this mentality that they want to be a ball control, run first, dominating the O-line, line of scrimmage team. Why? I don't understand the mentality. This is not 1980. I get James Cook is good. I get that we have a good O-line, but we also have the best quarterback in the league who can throw the rock all over the field. He can make literally any throw he wants to. Use him. Use the sports car you have in your garage. Don't take your foot off the gas. Let him be great. Outside of Gardner, I'm not afraid of anyone in the Jets secondary. If we get a lead, we need to remove Hall from this equation because Breece Hall, in my opinion, is their best offensive player. If you take him out of the equation, make the Jets one-dimensional, make Justin Fields, who historically is not that great of a thrower, make him throw from behind and put pressure on him, cause turnovers, and then bust this game wide open and go crazy. So let's move on to the stress meter. The stress meter, try to do this for each and every game. Last week, it was at an 8.5 and 9. I was well justified with my stress meter last week. Well, when I first started thinking about this game a few days ago, it was probably at a 2 or 3 on the meter. I really didn't have any worries. But the more I got into prepping for this and the more I watched the Jets game, the number is slowly creeping up. Now, maybe it was a week 1 bump. Maybe they were super amped to play for their new coach, their new season. Who knows? But they played really well. They ran the ball really effectively against the Steelers defense that historically has been pretty sound. You add that to the Bills' defensive woes, the nonsense that they put out on the field Sunday for 3.5 quarters. And yeah, my stress factor is going to go up a bit. They need to quickly fix some of the fundamental issues this week. I know Sean McDermott was adamant that this week of practice was going to hurt. If I believe that was the quote he used, he said, this week is going to hurt. We need to make it hurt. I hope it does because they look like a clown show out there. So they need to fix these issues, be buttoned up, be ready to go. Breece Hall is no slouch. So I'm going to say for me, this matchup has me at a 5 on the stress meter. I wasn't expecting to say that at any point during the offseason, looking at the Jets in week 2 on the road. But yeah, I'm going to go with a 5. Stress factor of a 5. So, prediction. All comes down to this, folks. Prediction. Here we go. The Bills are favored by 6.5 points. 6.5 points on the road in New Jersey. Yep, that's right. Playing in New Jersey. They will be rocking the white jersey on top, blue pants below. I think ultimately the Bills pull this one out and pull ahead in the second half. I think the first half is way closer than we want it to be, way closer than we hope it's going to be. But I do think the Bills cover this game. I think they win this game 31-24, and then they can go home, prepare for the Dolphins on a short week on Thursday Night Football back in Orchard Park. So there you have it. There's the week 2 preview, folks. I hope you have enjoyed this episode of the 3Ts podcast. I'm going to keep trying to do these game week previews or weekly game previews, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to keep trying to do these each and every week. It's actually a lot of fun for me. I hope you guys are enjoying it. But like I said at the beginning, if you can help me, Bills Mafia, hook a boy up, right? Everyone in Bills Mafia knows someone else in Bills Mafia. So pass on this podcast to your fellow Mafia members. Share it with somebody you know. Share it with a Mafia member. Help me grow this thing. Hit the follow, hit the like. Leave me a quick review. That's key. Leave me a quick 5-star review, and let's build this thing one episode at a time. And as always, I appreciate you all very, very much. So until next time, whether it's ripping packs, breaking tables, or dropping elbows, keep doing what you love. And as always, go Bills.